But the small percentage of people that are watching this right now, hey, just want you to know your future looks bright. You're going to experience some crazy moments, but you don't know how to stop, which means eventually we're going to find out about you and read about you. And I can't wait to read your story one day.
Gram of talent and a bit of consistency and a good work ethic will put you so much further ahead of everybody else. So many people are prepared to give up at doing a thing because they haven't had immediate rewards. So if you can find a thing which to you feels like play, but to everybody else looks like work, you will absolutely annihilate them. And it won't feel like you're using any willpower.
God ain't gonna give up on his purpose for you. Whatever God has for you, he gonna see to it that happens, because that's for him. And whatever lessons that you have to incur because you've made bad decisions, that's on you. But whatever he has for you, no man, no situation, and not even the ill-informed or ill-instinct decisions that you make can get in the way of that. Because whatever fate has for you, fate has for you. Whatever God got for you, no man can get in the way of.
Sometimes just shit happens, bad shit happens, but you learned from it, or it forced you to grow in some way. Just the sheer hanging onness of it made you stronger and better, right? It's not that, hey, there's this magical, opportunity in this, that there's this just slightly secret silver lining and then everything's awesome. No, it's much deeper than that. It's that the stuff that happens is shaping you and forming you and giving you opportunities to evolve as a human being.
The hero is the person who confronts horrible, chaotic potential and tames it and makes something of it. That's the fundamental human story. But the problem is that you have to face what you don't want to face in order to fix it.
I'd rather be a failure than a coward. No one wants to say they're afraid, because if you say you're afraid, then it means you're a coward. And I think that it only means you're a coward if you allow that fear to change your behavior in an aversive way, as in it not towards what you want. And I think that when you allow fear to change your behavior the wrong way, that is when you can give yourself that title of coward. That label is almost, I'm more afraid of that label than the label of failure.
In order to achieve anything that you care about, there is going to be an associated amount of shit that you need to eat.
If you do not have clear goals for your life, you are condemned forever to work for those who do. You see, in life, it's very simple. Either you are working toward the accomplishment of your goals, or you're working toward the accomplishment of other people's goals.
So you look at all the things about yourself that need to be burned off, that need to be dispensed with, especially at the beginning, especially if you're screwed up. That might be like 95% of you just has to go up in flames. And it's painful. Even some of that stuff that you have to burn off doesn't want to die, and it'll scream in agony while you're burning it off. It's not pleasant. But if you know that you're the thing that can transcend your problems, most fundamentally, if you know you're the thing that, if it faces the problems, can transcend them, then you have the faith that would enable you to take stock of who you are.
The fact that everyone looks like an overnight success means that the 10 years where they sucked, no one saw. And so the fear that you have about people noticing the fact that you fail is ridiculous, because they're barely going to notice when you succeed.
We will never fully know your reason until maybe your biography is written, or you write your memoir and you open up and tell us what the real driver is. Because some of the reasons we're not going to tell the world about it. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
If you want to take on the burden of trying to achieve something in life which is meaningful to you, accept that the shit eating is not a bug, it is a feature. It is a part and parcel of existing. You're a finite creature with an infinite complexity around you. Of course you're going to be scared.
Every time I start doing things I don't want to do, I grow.
Yes, that's a lesson that people need to hear and learn. It's so important because everybody just wants to be comfortable. Everybody wants to sit on the couch. I don't want to go outside, it's cold. I don't want to do this, it's hot. Like, you've got to do things that you don't want to do because you show your body that your mind is the boss. Your mind is telling your body what to do, and then you have control.
People are so terrified of failure that they don't even stop to think that, oh, if I could just not worry about embarrassing myself, then I could get in the game, throw the punches, look foolish, but I will get better and better.
The biggest mistake that people make is they think that only what they want to count counts. When you go to bed early and get up early and you work, it all counts, and it's all going on the plus side of your ledger. A person who has a great life by the law of accumulation is a person who's accumulated far more credits, more pluses on the credit side than debits on the debit side.
And most people, when they fail, they don't like to look at themselves in the mirror and say, you know what, maybe I have to change. People want change to happen to them. They don't want to change. And when you realize that change isn't going to happen to you, you need to actually proactively determine your future. Then and only then can you actually take not only full accountability for your good actions, your bad actions, but for your full life.
You have a 100% chance of bothering somebody on earth by existing. And so if every action you take has somebody who will hate it, then it kind of cancels everything out and you might as well just do whatever you're gonna do anyways.
The people that you admire, the people you look at, the people who achieve all these amazing things, all of those people along the way have been frustrated a lot, have been angry a lot, have felt demoralized a lot, have felt overwhelmed probably the whole time, okay? Greatness and achievement are not fucking free. They're not free. They come with a price. And in the real world, actions produce the result, not how you feel about it.
Right now, for you to find greatness in yourself, you're not gonna find it by looking in a book or by even hearing me. I may give you the spark, but you've got to go inside yourself to find it. And that means you gotta be quiet. Shut the fuck up, go in a room, stop talking, search your soul, search your mind, search your abilities, and you'll find it. But if you're not looking for it, you won't find it. So you gotta go start your journey. And the journey starts with you finding, why the hell am I here on this planet Earth? Why am I here? And if you don't know that, you will live the rest of your life searching, always asking the question, why?
If what you are doing is not moving you towards your goals, then it's probably moving you away from your goals. Everything that you're doing is either moving you toward the things that you want to accomplish in life, the person you want to be, the wealth you want to accumulate, or it's moving you away.
Let me show you something about yourself. For all the bad days you've ever had, for every day that you thought you wasn't gonna get through, for every period in your life you did not see no way you could come out on the other side, your track record for surviving them bad days is 100%. You have survived every single one of them. Your track record for surviving bad days, y'all, is 100%.
After you fail, the likelihood that you're successful goes up, not down. This is the part that people miss. They fail and think it somehow decreases the likelihood of success, but it actually increases it. And so it's like you want to just get the failures out of the way. Why would you not want something that increases the likelihood to hit your goal? And the reason that it increases that likelihood is that failure is a requisite probability for taking action. And so anyone who has failed has taken more action than someone who's done nothing, which means it increases the likelihood that they are successful.
So it's not the experiences of our lives that dictate where we're going. I know more people that have built a relationship with God than I do that have a relationship with themselves. And I think God wants you to have a relationship with Him and yourself. And the only way I believe we get to know ourselves is by experiencing life and not having the same experience over and over again. You already know that person and you already want to get better. You already want to grow. And so if you're gonna decide in your life to grow, these are the changes you need to make. And I believe that you were born to do something great with your life.
It doesn't matter if you feel overwhelmed. Like, it doesn't matter if you're frustrated. It doesn't matter if you're mad. It doesn't matter if you're bitter. It doesn't matter if you don't feel like it. It doesn't matter. Those things do not matter. It doesn't matter if your friends don't believe in you. It doesn't matter if your parents don't believe in you. These things do not matter. How you feel does not matter in the equation of building a life. What you do matters, and that is it.
The harder it is for you to break free of whatever kind of mental prison you've made for yourself, whether that's real or just in your head, the more compelling your story will be when you break through it, because it will resonate with even more people. For the people that it was easy, that their story doesn't have a lot of, like, I was immediately an entrepreneur. Like, I wasn't like that. I had a job when I was in high school. I had a job immediately out of college. And so I had a pretty clear career path. And so I had what many would consider, like, I had a real opportunity cost. But when I saw the people who were 20 years ahead of me, I really didn't want their life. And then it started making me look at my life and I was like, I don't even know if I really want my life.
You just do the work and you get there. The human mind, the human body, the human psyche is so pliable. You can literally become anyone and anything. Multiply that over time and experience, and don't quit even when it sucks.
If you say, I want to go out and I want to do these big things, but the work is overwhelming, then you have to go out, you have to decide what it's going to take to get to where you want to go. You break it down from where you want to go backwards to where you are, and you make a plan that you execute on every day. And if you get yourself in a position where you can adhere to a plan, what the can you not achieve?
And so when you fail, you get feedback. And when you get feedback, you get better. And when you get better, it increases the likelihood you win.
Maybe the journey isn't so much about becoming anything. Maybe it's about unbecoming everything that isn't you so you can be who you were meant to be in the first place. I think unbecoming is the greatest form of growth. You're always unbecoming. You're doing more unbecoming than becoming. Along the journey of development, along the journey of accomplishment, right? You're always unbecoming.
The doubt of 1,000 people on me is less dangerous than if I had self-doubt. The most important conversation you could ever have is that conversation that takes place between your ears, right, with yourself.
You know the difference between champions and everyone else? And I was like, what? He said, everyone always looks at them and says, what do champions have that I don't have? And he said, they have it backwards. He said, it's what do champions not have that I have? It's what do they lack? And it's an off button. They just don't stop. And so in dealing with the gold medalists, he's like, they just never stop. They just can't stop. Everything in their life is geared towards one goal. And so finding that thing, and they approach everything in their life that way. And I think that that level of obsession around like everything that you touch on a daily basis is required for really getting to where you want to go.
If you are insecure, guess what? The rest of the world is too. Do not overestimate the competition and underestimate yourself. You are better than you think.
If you're just constantly seeking more happiness and it's not there, then you're seeking something that's never going to be there. But if you're able to just stick in what you're doing right now, and in those hard times, believing they're going to lead to good times, it just creates a lot less friction in your life, you know? And I think whenever we're going through a hard time, we just want it to end. But it's those moments that allow us to appreciate the good ones.
The question of worth it is reliant on an outcome. We don't make these things for an outcome. It's not the mindset to make something great. The outcome happens. You're making the best thing you can make. It's a devotional practice.
Been thinking a lot recently about mundane successes, these sort of small personal victories that you do in private. There's no fanfare, there's no audience. No one's even going to applaud you. No one's going to give you a pat on the back. Like, how boring of a success to say, I didn't mess up another horse's day today. Like there is a few lower magnificent successes that you could do. I really think that more language around being gentle with yourself and appreciating when you have these small, unmagnificent victories is probably something good.
So many people want to project their idea of what they think your life should be like onto you. And it's just completely irrelevant. It just doesn't matter. I fundamentally am like, you are going to die and you're not going to matter. And I'm going to die and I'm not going to matter. So why do I care about what you're going to say when you're not even going to show up to my funeral?
There's no dopamine. There's no dopamine in there at 300 pounds. You got nothing. Your hormones are shot. You have to envision something that is more powerful than you. Something has to get you out of bed, and you have to create it. It has to be false, because you're not it. You're a fat piece of shit, and that's the reality of it. So you have to create a false reality to live in that, just to get to work on yourself.
Neediness occurs when you place a higher priority on what others think of you than what you think of yourself. Anytime that you alter your words or behavior to fit someone else's needs rather than your own, that's needy.
Be committed. If you are committed, then you are more likely to win. If you're just involved in something, there's a chance, a high probability that you'll fail. You want to be fully committed.
You're not as far away from these dreams as you think you are. But because you think it's so far away, you behave in accordance with that belief system, and it always keeps it that far away from you. First thing is you need to believe and know that you're one decision, one relationship, one meeting, one book, one thought, one something away from a completely different life. And when you know that, then you begin to look for them.
You're one decision away from changing. You are one decision away from changing. It's a decision away. You're one decision away from changing your life.
Anytime you lie about your interests or your hobbies or your background, that's needy. Anytime that you pursue a goal to impress others rather than fulfill yourself, that's needy. Imagine for a second a world in which you are unanimously adored by millions, but you hate yourself. Is it worth it? And now imagine a world where you're disliked by everybody, but you love yourself. I propose that self-love you would be happier.
Most people don't know this, but there's a brain structure called the anterior mid-cingulate cortex. But what's interesting about this brain area is there are now a lot of data in humans showing that when people do something they don't want to do, like add 3 hours of exercise per day or per week, or when people who are trying to diet and lose weight resist eating something.
Right.
When people do anything that they, and this is the important part, that they don't want to do.
Right.
It's not about adding more work, it's about adding more work that you don't want to do.
Yes.
This brain area gets bigger.
Yep.
The anterior mid-cingulate cortex is smaller in obese people. It gets bigger when they diet. It's larger in athletes. It's especially large or grows larger in people that see themselves as challenged and overcome some challenge.
Right.
And in people that live a very long time, in many ways, scientists are starting to think of the anterior mid-cingulate cortex not just as one of the seats of willpower, but actually the seat of the will to live.